Hi there, how are we doing? We're back on 67 Hill Hail. I am Hamish Carton. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you're enjoying the leftovers of Boxing Day. John, we certainly had a pretty good performance from Celtic. If that was an item in the Christmas meal, that performance today, what would it be?
Maybe the roast potatoes, not quite the main event, but a really good side dish. I enjoyed that today. I didn't really see any problems with the performance at all. I thought there were signs of improvement for some players. I mean, the only caveat I would have was that it was a decimated Hamilton squad. But yeah, a good afternoon, a good Boxing Day treat.
Yeah, lots to be positive about. I think, yes, the opposition were Hamilton Accies. We weren't playing one of the better teams in the league. But I thought it was a continuation of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks or so. There was certainly positives there. There's certainly been an improvement in the performance since we went through that horror run when everyone thought Neil Lennon was going to be sacked. That's undoubtable from my point of view. We've had players like Turnbull who have come in. He's now got 3 goals for the club. I thought Sorrow had another good game today. I thought Edouard was absolutely brilliant. Probably his best performance in, well, probably the last time we played Hamilton, actually, funnily enough. They must hate the sight of him. I thought he was great, and that's where I think I want to start, just chatting about Odsonne and Edouard. You can bring Leigh Griffiths into the equation as well if you want, because Griffiths, as I'm calling him, had a pretty good game.
I don't think I can talk about Edouard without talking about Griffiths as well, because for me today they were a complete package together. I thought their combinations are looking obviously sharper. Eddie was obviously up for it today, but so was Griffiths. He was trying to get onto the end of balls consistently throughout the time he was on the pitch. And he could have had more goals. He had a couple of good opportunities in the first half, one of which hit the post. So I was happy for them as a complete package, as a striking combination today. And I don't think I've been able to say that too often this season. There were signs of it against Ross County during the week, but today was much better from the two of them in that regard. And although Edouard's still waiting on that goal from open play in the league, since the last time we played Hamilton, he slots away the penalties with ease, and Griffiths is there to bury chances running off Edouard, and it's excellent to watch. Eddie's little flick for Griffiths' goal was magic, so I was delighted with that.
The thing I loved about the flick was everyone knew it was coming. Everyone was waiting. They knew he was going to feed it into Griffiths, and still Hamilton couldn't do anything about it because the weight on it was absolutely perfect. They had a moment just a couple of minutes into the game when I think Edouard had a kind of 1-2 with Griffiths, set Griffiths free, and Griffiths forced the Hamilton keeper into a good save. So they were at it today. It's just continuing on from what I felt had been some early positive signs on Wednesday night. I thought they'd started slowly, but they'd come on to a game. Today, I thought there was still signs that they've got a bit of work to do in the partnership, and it's not going to come naturally after, spending so long not together. But I thought in general today there was real positive signs there. I think they start together against Dundee United on Wednesday, I would think.
So, yeah.
What about the game after it?
Well, for me, I think they just need to stay. I think this is the team set up for me now going into Ibrox through the next 2 games against United and Rangers. I think that's what probably Neil Lennon's intending to do. Quite like the look of the diamond formation. I thought there was at times today where we let the tempo of the game, drift a little bit into the more pedestrian variety. But the first 15 minutes I thought were really good, and then in the second half I thought we really improved again. So this formation, this team, this partnership, that 2-man attack, I think is the way to go for both United and Ibrox. Coming out with the Ross County game the other night, I was hoping that Lennon was going to stick with the vast majority of the team that he picked then, and it was only Julien and Laxalt that dropped out today. Julien, because of an injury, he should be back for United, so I'd expect him to come back in for near beat-on, or bitten, as Sky Sports like to say, our new sign-in. I want this team, the core of this team, to be the consistent team going forward, and we'll see what happens against United and Rangers.
Right, a couple of comments we've got in. Just Jordan, a catalyst for Eddie and Griff to get their partnership back to their best. That's the question mark at the end of that. Possibly Jordan. Michael Canavan, it's all part of the miracle run, boys. That's 3 league wins in a row. I was thinking earlier, imagine we went on like a 15-game winning run. We'd been in an amazing place at the end of that, but we'll take a game at a time.
We'll take a game.
Yeah. We Are Nature, tuned into the second half, and I can say I'm glad I did tune in. You certainly picked the right half to tune in there. Mazhar Yousuf, I'm liking the look of this diamond formation. It allows for flexibility. Sorrow sweeps up at the back, and he's quick enough to deal with that. Problem occurs if we drop Sorrow for Brown next weekend. I know you certainly think that Sorrow will stay in the team for Wednesday and for the game against Rangers. I do have my doubts that Neil Lennon will go back to what he knows, although, you can't argue with what we're seeing at the moment. Yes, the opposition haven't been great for our last 3 league games, probably the 3 poorest teams, County, Hamilton and Kelly, who lost again today. But it's 3 clean sheets. It's 7 goals. You can't really argue with what we're seeing from, the team as it is at the moment.
Neil Lennon's not a stupid man, and I would suggest that the introduction of Sorrow is less about the decline of Brown more than it is just the potential we've got with Sorrow in here. I think he's a fantastically dynamic midfield performer. I think he's got the physical attributes to get stuck into the Scottish game, but I also think he plays with a bit of grace and intelligence, and his vertical passing is far more conducive to success for us than Scott Brown's side-to-side passing. So I don't see how Neil Lennon could take him out the side at the moment. I think he's been one of our best players over the last month. And I know he's only played a handful of games, but if we're to go on a consistent run, I think Sorrow needs to be a part of it. And, he's not the finished article. I don't want to go too overboard. Sorrow still has to prove that he can perform consistently over a long period of time. That's what we want from all our Celtic players. But Sorrow, for me, is definitely the man. And Turnbull, again, popping up in the box on the end of a chance again today. That's what you want from your attacking midfielders. So, that duo, I think, have revitalised this team. They've certainly given Lennon a more constructive and functional formation to pursue, and it needs to stay like that.
Yeah, Turnbull, as I said at the start, has scored 3 goals now in 5 games, which you can't really argue with that return for a non-striker. He just gets into good areas. His shooting's much better than Ryan Christie. One wee bugbear I've got is, why is Ryan Christie still taking a lot of corners and set pieces for us? Turnbull, who can certainly deliver much better. A couple of other bugbears I'm going to get off my chest. The first one is about Don Robertson. I thought he was really poor. I thought he had a couple of really horrendous decisions today. There was one in the first half. There was then one when he got involved in the game. There was then one where I think he intercepted an Edouard pass or something. There was then one that Turnbull shot that the keeper touched around the post. It was a clear corner that he gave as a goal kick to Hamilton. And there's another one I've got written down, pass back, and I've now forgotten what it was. Right at the end when Ayeti goes clear and the Hamilton player passes it back to the goalkeeper and he doesn't give anything. So I'm all for one for not just criticising refs for the sake of it, and it's always easier after defeats to do it and use it as almost an excuse. But after a 3-0 win, I think it's important to say that I thought he had an absolute shocker today. I thought it was a really, really poor performance.
Yeah. Not the only poor officiating in Scotland today, I would suggest. There's a couple of penalty shouts at Ibrox that we might want to have a look at again. Jack Ross wasn't a happy man after that one, and Michael Stewart was giving Willie Collum a bit of pelters on BBC Scotland too. So maybe Sports Scene will be worth a watch later. In the Celtic game, I agree, the refereeing wasn't great today. It was a difficult day for everyone on the pitch. I think the conditions were horrendous. It was a hard enough day for the cameraman, never mind Celtic. So I was delighted to come through the match in the midst of Storm Bella to pick up 3 points.
Is that what it's been called?
Aye, that's it.
Bella. Wow, amazing. Right, that's the negatives for me, John. What are the positives?
Oh, there's plenty of positives. I would say I thought Beaton had a good game in defence. I think Julien's probably Lennon's preferred man there, but he didn't look out of place for me alongside Ayar. I thought, it's difficult to judge the defence too much because I don't think Hamilton offered a lot in the game at all. But I thought that was also down to the functionality of the midfield, which I thought was just very efficient today, and really protected the defence when we needed them to. There's positives all over the team. I can't actually pick out any kind of glaring negative from the Celtic side today. I thought another positive was the amount of players that came off the bench with quite a bit left in the match to go. The game was dead and buried at 2-0, and Lennon waited 5-10 minutes, I think, to start making his substitutes, but it was good to see the likes of Klimala and Ayeti get on and get some action together. I know it wasn't long, but it was something, and it gives Griffiths and Edouard and others a rest.
Yeah, Mikey Johnson just looks brilliant every time he comes on. He just looks so quick. The ball sticks to his feet, and I think he's the kind of player that can be a brilliant sub for us in the coming weeks and months. We went into today's game 19 points off the top. Now, a lot of pressure on the team today. I don't get the impression they're feeling the pressure, to be honest, and I look at that as a real positive. And I know we are only just gone past Christmas, and I think we've played 17 games or something like that this season, so there's a long way to go, and we do have those games in hand. But I don't know how you look at it, but I certainly feel like the players are still very much, it's in our hands. Keep winning, and everything will fall into place. As much as the gap is really alarming.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to know much more about the way this season, the direction of travel this season over the next 7 days. It's just a huge week for Celtic, and I think this is the best way to start it. How else would you want to start it than a comfortable routine 3-0 win on the back of a comfortable routine win against Ross County that sets us up very nicely for this United game, which again we need to pick up all 3 points in. Absolutely no doubt about that, and I think we need to win at Ibrox as well. So we're going to find out a lot more about this team and where they are currently at, probably this time next week, Hamish. But I'm excited about it now. I think that there's enough signs of progress there for me to feel like there's perhaps better times around the corner, but they've still got a lot to prove. I said when the last time we dropped points, what Celtic need to do to win me back ground, what Neil Lennon needs to do to win me back ground was win all our league games in the build up to Ibrox and then win at Ibrox, and then we can take it from there. But that's not happened yet, so we need to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm very wary of going overboard either way. Of course. At the moment. It's tough for us to weigh up because we are constantly, I certainly am constantly giving my opinion on this channel, and everything's kept online forever basically. So I always have to be wary, especially after getting burned last time out. I'm certainly going to be keeping things a bit calmer this week. Kieran pulled you up, John. He says, love the way John said the game was dead and buried at 2-0. We are the kings of surrendering 2-0 wins.
Yeah, we are, but the pattern of the game, the way it was, you know what I mean. But yeah, we are the king of surrendering 2-0 leads. There's another comment here from Plixiplox. Did Edouard respect the Accies keeper today? Was Neil McCann watching?
Yeah, that was I'd say that was. He's clearly taken my Christmas present, hasn't he? And he's gone to the night of respect with Neil McCann. So good on you, Edouard. I just thought he was brilliant today, and I know the opposition was Hamilton, but I think the key was that the Odsonne Edouard looked up for it today, and I don't think it really would have mattered who the opposition were to an extent. I just thought the way he was holding the ball in, his first touch was brilliant. He barely gave it away, and if he's on that kind of form, if he plays Wednesday night, gets another goal off after 60 minutes, and he's going into that game next week full of form or full of confidence, I am also going to be that way and full of confidence because he's the one player, I know, he's the one player that they still fear. And, as much as they're the team running away at the top of the league, they fear him more than I fear any Rangers player. And I know that because of what he's done to them in the past. Remember the game at Hampden last year when he came on and the whole atmosphere inside Hampden changed. So Odsonne Edouard, you could be your saviour. How are you feeling about the next week then? We're going to have various previewing and stuff prior to the new year and prior to the game on Saturday. How are you feeling? Are you excited for it? Is there a bit of trepidation there?
Well, I'm glad that you're more positive, Hamish. I think you've had a few Christmas sherries. It's good to see you so relaxed and happy. As long as you don't make any prediction videos heading into Ibrox, I think we'll maybe be all right. No, sorry, not to just slag you off on the channel, but I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I think, given the way the season's gone, I think right now, after our last drop points, right now is about as good as we could have expected heading into this week. I was worried that we might drop points against Ross County again, or even today on a tricky pitch and horrible conditions. But we've come through, milder tests, and now it's time for the bigger tests. And there's a lot. I think there's a lot more pressure riding on the Dundee United match than this match. You just want to win the match heading into the derby. So again, it's just up to the players. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm not going to say that I'm wholly confident of Celtic winning at Ibrox. I think it's possible. I don't think it's out with the realms of possibility that I perhaps thought it was a month ago. I think there's enough signs of life for us to at least make it competitive, hopefully. And then, you never know what happens in the derby. Let's not forget, Neil Lennon's team won at Ibrox last season and the only derby at Ibrox. They won that match. I know that was a long time ago, and I know a lot's happened since then, but it's not completely out with the realms of possibility that we can do something against Rangers. But I do think we need to win. I don't think a draw is good enough for us, and that makes it very difficult because they've just been really consistent, even when they're not playing well or not doing enough. I mean, they won 1-0 today, and it could have easily have been drop points for them, but they found a way to win. So we need to climb that mountain.
Yeah, there's not been a draw in one of these games for a long time, so maybe that's where we're headed. If you want another example of Celtic having or been given not much of a chance at Ibrox and pulling out a result, on the 2nd of January 2011, so 10 years to the day next Saturday,
nice.
Samaras Sunday. Fancy a bit of that?
I do fancy a wee bit of that. That'd be magic. We maybe get the Greek legend back, and I don't mean
the transfer window opens on the 1st, so we've already got our own Greek legend, but we'll take another one. It goes without saying we're going to have lots and lots of previewing content between now and next week. As for my prediction, you'll have to wait for that. If you want to be one of the first people to hear my glorious prediction, then maybe you should think about subscribing to the channel, clicking the alarm bell as well, and all of that. There's a couple of other comments I just wanted to bring up. Mazar in touch again. Always like the kind of in-depth view we get. Callum McGregor was solid too, I thought, and see if that Turnbull shot went in top bins, then that would have been the season by a mile. There's another one there from Mazar. Is Brown versus Sorrow the really big question? For me, arguably, who plays in the back four is bigger. Hazard, Ayer at right back, Julian Beaton centre back, and Laxalt. Reason being we need height at the back for their crosses.
I would be all for putting Ayer back onto the right flank for the Ibrox trip. I think that's a good point. I hope it's not dominated by the Sorrow Brown debate, because I think it can be a bit reductive and a bit negative. I think people should be celebrating Sorrow rather than having a go at Brown. I hope that's not the leading narrative heading into the match. I think there's a lot to talk about in the Celtic team apart from that. It's obviously going to be one of the talking points and subplots heading into the game. But yeah, the defence is going to be so crucial next week, so crucial. So it's right that Neil Lennon has the 4, and hopefully it's a 4, not a 3. And he has the 4 that he feels is stable enough to go to Ibrox and keep a clean sheet,
Hopefully. John, how was your Christmas?
I had a great Christmas, Hamish. It was a quiet one with my missus. It was only Christmas for 2 this year, but it was a legend nonetheless. And it's going well when you're doing karaoke at 2 a.m.
Just the 2 of you?
Yes.
No, I was asking, is that the song, just the 2 of you?
Oh, no, we didn't do that one. But it was good fun. I had a good time. I was expecting it to be a little bit flat, but it ended up being a great day. So I'm happy with that.
Good stuff. I can say the same. I ended up sleeping for like 7 p.m. for an hour, so that kind of summed up my day. But hey ho, we've had a good Boxing Day. Celtic have got the 3 points, and we move onwards and upwards from here. Big thanks to you tuning into this video again. We'll have far more in the coming days. Take care.